In the last class, we had done an MVC project, okay, with products, and we did insert, delete, and retrieve, as well as I think updating. Okay, all these things we had done in that particular project. So what I'm doing is I'm in this class, I'm going to continue that products table. Okay, and I'm going to make a small shopping cart idea. Okay, I'm not going to do the full thing because full thing requires a lot of tables and a lot of connections and stuff. I'm going to keep it simple, just to take you to the cart, not to go to the order and stuff. Okay, I'll just take you to the cart. I'll leave the order part to you. If you can't do it, I'll help you in it. Okay, you can try it on your own. But for the record program, I'm only expecting till the cart. So showing the final list of items added to the cart. That's all. Okay, so that's what we are going to do right now. It's going to be a simple one. I'll try to complete as soon as possible, guys. Okay, so before I proceed, let's see what we have already done in the last class. Let me quickly go through that, and then we'll go to the new ones. Okay, so first thing, we are working on an MVC model, which means model view controller. All right, that idea we are working on, and this project basically has two controllers. One was the home controller, the other one was product controller. Okay, in home controller, basically there was just three pages: index, about, and contact. I did not touch this page. Rather, we went to another product controller. Why? Because I wanted to keep a separate controller just to handle products in my table. Alright, so with that in mind, I kept it as product controller.cs, in which we basically have index, which is the list of all products, and then we have create, which creates a new product data. Okay, and then the other one we had edit, which will edit an already existing data, and then we have delete. Okay, so like that we had different functions, and for each of these controller methods we have a corresponding view. Okay, and the logic or the model for all these things were created by entity data model, which is ADO.NET entity data model, which is your entity framework basically. So we already have a product db model.edmx, which we created using the systems wizard, and we got a model already ready. This model basically has one thing called TBL product, okay, which is my tables object. Okay, so I have all these things in product controller. I have index page. If I go to the view, I'll right click here and say go to the view. I'm not adding a view, I'm just already existing view. I'm adding it, I'm going to that view, and I displayed all the products in that particular thing using the at model. This is the model I've followed, which means when you pass from the product controller to this, I'll have list of all data which is there in the TBL products table. And with that, I went through a for each loop in the model, and we displayed all these things one by one. Okay, so image I displayed using the name of the file, and I gave the location because it's a fixed location, and then I gave this. Okay, and then for edit and delete, I've given a hyperlink so that when you click on it, I'll take you to the corresponding method in my same controller. Method is edit, controller is product. Method is delete, controller is product. Okay, and I've passed a parameter saying ID. So ID will be passed along with this. So I've given these things, and then to add a new product, I'll take you to create method or create view of product controller. So let me go to product controller. Let me right click on create and say go to view. Okay, so here again, I have created a simple table with some simple forms, input type equal to submit, all those things. All right, and for everything, I made the system create an editor for me based on the model which you have passed to me. Okay, except for the file, because it's not taken as binary. Rather, I took the file and stored it in a hard disk, and then I took the location and stored it in the database. So I just gave it as input type equal to file. I gave a specific name which I'll be calling here in the controller to take that value. Okay, I think you can refer the previous video to understand how this project works. All right, so that's how we are done, and we did all those. Let me just run the project. Let me just show you what we have done so far, and then we'll move on to the today's project. Okay, let me run this, and when you open for the first time, okay, by default the controller which will be called, if you don't specifically mention, will be the home controller, and index action of the home controller will be called. Please remember that by default, if you do not mention anything, okay, index method will be called. Obviously the controller, by default controller which is looked for is home controller. All right, so let me just come back here. So home controller was called because I did not specifically call a controller, and index page of that particular home controller is called. All right, so now let me just put slash product. Okay, let me not call index also, just let me just call slash product. Basically what I'm trying to do is call the product controller. When you call a controller without specifically telling what action of the controller you're calling, it will by default call index. So let me just call product. Okay, product will automatically retrieve all the details from the index method of your product controller, which is basically the list of products. Okay, all products which are available. In the last class, I deleted already one record. So let me just add a few products now because I might need it for my shopping cart. So let me just add a few more projects. Okay, so let me just put something. Let me just choose an image. If you don't choose an image also, it's not a problem. Okay, so I leave it up to you guys. Let me just choose some image and keep. Okay, so I'll put the same image only. If you want, you can modify it. It's your wish. Okay, so another image has been added. Let me add another product. Alright, so some images I've added and some products I've added. You can see the product ID. This is not going to be shown to the user. This is for the admin part, because if you are able to edit and delete files, which means you are the admin. Okay, so in the admin part, I'm showing product ID, but the user I'll not show product ID. Okay, I'll only show the product name and the price and the quantity and etc. etc. Okay, so this is the images which I have, and some image. I think I'll edit one image so that it will not be all same. So let me choose a new image for that particular purpose. Let me just put some college logo or something and update the product. Okay, so now there are three different products. Okay, so with that, let me go back, and if I want to edit, if I just click on edit, I'll take you to the page where I'm editing one particular product. Okay, and I've given new data, and once you give the new data and click on update, it takes me to update this particular thing, and then goes back to main page. Okay, not this main page, this main page product. All right, and when I click on delete, I have asked in such a way that you get a message saying, are you sure you want to delete that particular product? And if I say okay, it will go to deleted, otherwise it will just stay there. Okay, so that's all we have done, and we have done a simple CRUD operation using MVC. All right, now I'm going to take this into our project. Now, as a user, as a simple user, if you come to my website, I would like to show all the images or all the products in my table in the home page. And when you click on add to cart, I want to take that item and add it to the cart. Okay, please note I am not using a database for cart. Instead of that, I'm using session cart. Okay, please remember that I'm using session for the cart here. So with that in mind, let me just start with the program. So before we begin all these things, let's start always with the model. Okay, so what will be the model of your cart? Okay, let's just picturize this, guys. All right, so how will a model of a cart be? Okay, in cart, what will be normally there? Okay, just think about what will be there in a cart by default. Cart will normally have a product. Okay, from the database, the product will come. Then you have something called quantity. How much of that particular product is there in the cart? Okay, so for example, when you add it for the first time, when you add a particular product, let's say click on add to cart on a pen. Okay, when you add to cart, by default, it will show you that you have added a pen which costs, let's say, 5 rupees per piece. And how many pieces have you added? First time when you add it is 1 piece. Okay, and then you can update that quantity, or you can add that product, or whatever you want to do. Okay, and you can see that the new version of that particular quantity is there. So basically, we have two things in the cart. One is the items in the cart will be the product and its all its details of the product. Second thing which is unique from that will be the quantity. Please note, quantity will not be stored in the database. What database has is not that quantity. It says the total. That's the stock. What I have in my database, let's say 200, 300 and all, I have it in the database. But I won't be purchasing 200 pens and pencils and stuff. So what we do is, we keep that database. Let me just open the database quickly once. Okay, I hope you guys remember the database structure. So in case if you've forgotten, I'll just show you that. Okay, and remember that all these data is required of a particular product, but what is not coming from the user is the quantity, not this quantity, guys. This quantity is just telling how many products I have in stock. But in the cart, it's not your stock which is shown. It's shown how many items this user has added to the cart. Okay, that is a different quantity. So let's create a simple model. All right, I'll go to the database, the models folder, and right click on it. And let me add a new C# class, a simple class. Okay, and this class I am going to name it as item. Okay, so let me just name it as item. I'll just choose class and I'll name it as item. That's it. Okay, now in this model, okay, based on what model am I going to create the cart? Based on this model. All right, so what will be there? Sorry, what will be there in that particular item? All right, so first thing I'm going to do is public TBL product. Please note, TBL product has been accessed directly here. Previous all programs, if you notice, I had given that thing on the top. Okay, I had to include them because they were not available by default in that folder. I hope you guys remember here. Look at this. I had given that whatever name, project name dot models. I had imported that into my project. Then I started using it. Okay. But here I need not do it. I'm directly calling TBL product. Let's find out why. Okay. Look at the solution explorer where TBL product is inside product DB model. So I need not directly, I need not give a reference because you are in the same folder. Since we are in the same folder, I need not create a reference or need not add a namespace here. I can just keep it like this. Okay. So let me just give it as product. So where did I stop? Okay. Like this, you can write get and set also. But instead of using this big format, we can just type prop. Okay. It's just a property. When you just tab twice, it will come like this. Let me just give TBL product. Okay. Please note, I'm just giving a class here and then let me name it as product. Sorry. Product. That's enough. Okay, so wherever you see product is an object of TBL product. Okay, second one, another property I'll add, which is integer only because I want to take the quantity. Okay, so I'm putting it in capital letters so that you know this is part of this model, item model, product and quantity. That's it. Only two things I'm going to create because this is just a model by which my data is going to be stored. Product, quantity. Okay, by the way, don't think it's only two records. Just think, what is this? This is not a data type. This is a class, which means I'm passing an object. Okay, so which means what and all this object will have, this object will have everything what I just showed you. ID, name, price, quantity, pick of a particular product. Okay, and that particular product will have a particular quantity. For example, if I add a pen, all right, the product will be pen and what is the ID of the pen, what is the image of the pen, all those things will be stored in this object. And how many pens did you add to the cart will be stored in quantity. All right, so please remember this is your item. So I've created a simple item model. That's it. Now, next thing what I'm going to do here is I am going to create or let me first display. Let's do that first display part because I want to show all the products which are available in my database on the home page of my website. Okay, where is my home page? It is there here, home controller. Okay, when you open the page, immediately this will come, right? Index, about, contact and all. So I'm going to write it in index page, which means when I show you index page, I want you to show me all the products in that database in my main page without any what do you call it, the table structure. I want it like one by one, like how Amazon or Flipkart will show you images of a particular product. Okay, so I'm not going to go in that detail of the CSS. I'm just going to display that product details one by one. Okay, so you want to display all the products, right? So let's write a code here for the controller. Okay, home controller. You know the code by now, so I'm not going to repeat that. Okay, so let me just import first because I'm going to use that what is that model. So I'm going to call MVC, check MVC is my project name dot models. Okay, so I'm going to import that, and then here what I'm going to write is I'm going to cut this and write it inside using. Okay, and what using what? Okay, let me just write product DB entities, same like how we had done in the last class. Okay, product DB entities DB is equal to new product DB entities. All right, so one thing is done. Second thing is I need to collect all, which means list of TBL product. Okay, let me name it as products and is equal to, I need to fetch everything. So how do I fetch everything? I can write a simple query. All right, so I'm going to write from data in db dot TBL products, select data because no restriction, right? Dot to list. I wanted to convert whatever you get into a list and then pass it on to the view. That's it. Okay, please note I've just taken all the data from the products table and passed it on to my view. Where is the view for it? Let me right click on it and say go to view because already there is a view. You know where this view is coming from. This is from the main page. That Jumbotron and all those things are there. So let me just remove that. Okay, so let's write our own code here. Okay, so let me just remove that Jumbotron first and make sure that this page, this view of index has idea of who came or who gave you this particular data. So for that, let me just close other things first. Okay, let me open only what is required, home controller. Okay, so here please note view of home controllers. That's why we are going there. And what is passed to the view? A list of TBL product. Okay, so let me go back to index.html, CSHTML, and then I'll say at model. Okay, and I'll call, why am I calling it here? Because you are inside another folder called view, and the controller is, the TBL product, that object is stored in models. So how do I call it? I call my project name and then say models. Then I say TBL product, but you're not passing one object. What I've referred is just one object. Since you're not passing one object, I'm going to write list of this object. That's it. Okay, a list of this object you are passing. So whatever right now you handle or you go to the model, you have all the records of whatever is there in the database. That's all. All right. So with that in mind, let me go to the home page. Okay. So we are in the home page already. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to write a simple code which will put everything inside one. Okay. You can write it like this, or you can also put a container. Normally we have like that. We write everything inside a class called container. That's in Bootstrap. We normally write that. Okay. So let me just cut this, put it here. Okay, and already what they have written, I'm going to delete everything. I don't want these rows, okay, because these are all basic information what they are given. I just kept it like this. I deleted whatever they had and I created my own. Okay, now what I'm going to do is inside this class container, let me just put a h1. Okay, and I'll put list of products available. I'll just put like that, products available. All right, and inside that I'll put a class called row. And inside that class called row, let me write a simple for each loop because I want to display each and every item which is there in that model. So I'll write for each var item in model because everything right now is stored in the model of this particular page. All right, so I've got all the information. Now all I need to do is show each product. So please note where the cursor is blinking, whatever code I write will be repeated for how many ever items are there in that model. How many items are there? If I have right now, I have 3, which means 3 models will be created. Okay, 3 data will be created here. So what I'm going to write is I'm going to write a simple div. Okay, let's write, I think we'll write it with the Bootstrap grid view. So I'm going to write class is equal to, I'll put it as a column. In small screen, it should take 4. I'll just put call sm4. All right, you'll understand it when it runs. So first thing what I want to display is normally shopping carts are not good with text. They show a lot of images first. So first let me put an image. Okay, an image tag. Okay, src is equal to, please note, you know how to navigate to that place. Okay, so I'll say content and then images, and then I want at item dot prod underscore pick. Done. Okay, and alternate text, let me just show the item dot name, product name will be the alternate text. If at all it is not available, the image is not available, at least you'll see the name of the image, the name of the product. Okay, and then let me just put width as say 150 and height as 150. Only this much information about an image I have given. Okay, so once the image is done, also if you want you can put Bootstrap extra if you want. Okay, I'm not doing it. I'll just put if 150 to 150. It'll look like a square. All right, and then I would like to show an image. Okay, not an image. Actually, I want to show the name of the product. Okay, image already I've shown. Now I'm to show the name of the product. Okay, for that I'm going to use a span tag. Okay, and in that span I'm going to say style is equal to. The reason why I'm putting this is because I want this information one after the other. Okay, you'll understand when you write like this. If you don't follow, just try to remove this and you'll see how the code will look like. I don't want to waste time. I'll get into this. Okay, and also I'll say class is equal to h3. I want to show it like a h3 tag so that I did not write much thing, and I'll also put the color as text hyphen info. That's enough. Okay, and inside that I think I'll put the product name. So I'll add item dot prod name. Done. Okay, same thing I'll copy, I'll paste it below. Alright, so span style display equal to block and all those things. Class I'll change it into h4 instead of h3. Okay, and here let me just put bold because this is the price. Okay, so next one I'm going to display the price of that particular product, and let me put price, and if you want you can put dollar or whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, so let me just put rupees, and I'll say rupees some whatever price you have. Okay, if you want to put dollar, you put dollar, whatever symbol you want to use there. Okay, so I'll just say this much is the price per item, or you can just type per item. Okay, so this will be coming from C#. Wherever I have written after the space will be understood as HTML. Alright, so that's it. So per item, this much you are going to give. Okay, now what I've shown is I've shown an image of the product, name of the product, as well as the price of the particular product. No much information I've given because I don't have descriptions in the table. If you want, you can add descriptions also. Okay, now last thing what I'm going to do is add to cart. Okay, so I need a hyperlink. Okay, So I'm going to write the hyperlink shortly, but before that, what will be this one? I'll just say add to cart. All right, please note this. You can change it into an icon, or you can add icon as well as texting. It is your wish. I leave it to you. Okay, so I put a href is equal to. Now here you want to give the where should I take you to? That I'll write later, not right now. Okay, and let me just change that button to class btn hyphen. I can give it as primary instead of success, or whatever color you want. Okay, use your color. Now the reason why I've left this blank is because I would like to take it to another controller where I'll take cart alone separately. So cart controller, after writing, I'll bring this code here. Okay, so let's just check whether this works first, then we'll move on to the cart controller. All right, so let me run this project. Now I'm going to call by default this index.cshtml. Let's see how it comes. Okay, and if any changes are required, we'll do that changes, then we'll move on. Okay, so here this is the output of my program. Okay, so here you see that the image of the product is displayed, and then you have the pen. Okay, and then you have the item. Okay, how much per item. So I've displayed it in a neat fashion. If you want to, you can check whether it is responsive, because we had given bootstrap call hyphen sm equal to 4. All right, so that's what we have got the products, and each product has an add to cart button right next to it, because I've given like this. So there is an image, there is a name of the image, as well as below that you have the price of that particular product. Okay. So like that we have got an output. If you have how many ever controls are there, that many times it will repeat and it will show you different products. Okay, so that I leave it up to you guys. So how do you keep the images and all those stuff? Okay, so now when you click on add to cart, you want something to happen. That right now I've not written anything. So let's write the controller for that, then we'll come back here. Okay, so let me stop the project. Let me go to the solution explorer. Now I'm going to add one more controller, because just to handle all the cart, that's why I'll divide the project as much as possible so that it's easy for us to map them together. So I'm going to write, I've already written a code for retrieving all the records of the product and displaying it in the home controller. And to do the admin part of the product, I have product controller. Now the last part, what I'm going to do is cart. Okay, so let me just add a new controller. Okay, I'll choose this time not read write actions. I'll choose an empty controller, because right now I'm not trying to perform CRUD operation. I want some other operation here. Okay, so I'm going to choose an empty MVC5 controller, and let me click on add. Okay, so here this controller, I'll name it as cart controller. So I'll put cart controller. Let me click on add. Scaffolding will not give you much data here, because I want to write the code, so I'm not going to write much here. Okay. Okay, so now you see nothing much is there. It's just a cart controller, which obviously has one method, one action method called index. This will be the default view, which will be called as soon as you call it. Okay, so with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write nothing here, because as soon as you return a view, I want to show whatever is there in the cart. Now, before I proceed with this, guys, I need to understand I'm not going to store the items you put in the cart in your database. Okay, rather I am going to put whatever items you are putting in the cart in the session variable of your system. Okay, please note I'm going to use session for the cart, because it's normally recommended to use session till it is finalized. Okay, but some major websites, what they'll do is they'll add it to the database. They'll create a new cart object and then put it in the database. But right now in this project, I'm not going to take it that complicated. Let me just keep it in the session, which is the most simplest way of having a shopping cart. Okay, so with that in mind, let me move on. I'm going to create some specific methods here. Okay, some first one I'm going to create is add to cart, and then I'm going to show let's say remove from cart. Okay, so I'll do add to cart, remove from cart, two things I require. And then also I'm going to create one more method which will be part of the controller to check whether the item what you're trying to add is already in the cart. Okay, please note I'm going to create three functions in this apart from the index. Okay, one is add to cart, one is remove from cart, third one is to check whether it is already in the cart or not. Okay, so with that in mind, let me start. First, let me write add to cart. Okay, let me just leave it as it is. Let me come down. I'll add public. Okay, let me put the result as action result only, like previous one. Okay, let all be action result only, except for to check whether it is there in the cart or not. Okay, so and what is the name of this? I'll put it as add to cart. I'll create a method called add to cart. Okay, and what should I pass? Okay, should I pass anything while adding to cart? When you click on add to cart, should I pass something? Yes, you're supposed to pass which item are you adding to the cart. So you need to pass something which is here. I'll pass the product ID. Is that fine? Okay, so I'll just pass product ID because I want the ID of the product. Okay, which product you are adding to the cart, I need to know that. So I'm writing add to cart in product ID. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. Alright, so before we write anything else, let me just fix this error. The error is because it is saying it is not returning anything. So let me just first write the return. What should I write? As soon as you have added the item to the cart, show me the cart. So I'll take you to the index page of the cart once you have clicked on it. So how do I do that? Okay, so I'll write return redirect to action. Yeah, here it is. Redirect to action. Give the name of the action. Okay, what action do you want me to take me to? I want you to take back to index. Done. So there's no error now. Now I'll write the code. Okay, so please note what am I going to add to the cart? All right, the item which I'm going to add to the cart is put in item. What will be there in item? There will be an object of a product. Okay, please note an instance of a class and also a data type called quantity, which is integer. All right, so basically what is an instance of a class? One row in the table and a particular number will be stored in the cart. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a simple if else condition. Okay, the first if is that is the session of cart null, which means is it the first time you're adding the first item you're adding to the cart? I want to check that. Okay, so let me write if session of cart is equal to null. Okay, I hope this if condition is clear. Please note I've just used a simple if else condition. Just try to understand what is the if else condition. If the cart session is null, which means nothing is there in the cart, do something. If already something is in the cart, then I'll have another condition. Okay, first let me write the first time. The first time you create an item. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Okay, first you are supposed to create a list of item. Please note what we have created is just one item. Okay, if I create a list of this, which means I have a list of items in the cart. Okay, so with that in mind, let me write a simple list of item. Okay, please note item comes from model, which is not imported here. So also I'll write using my project name dot models. Okay, so now I'm going to write a list of item. It will work. All right, so now let me just put it as items. Okay, instead of items, let me use another word so that it's easy for us to follow. Cart. Okay, what is a cart? Cart is a list of items. Okay, what is in an item? An item has a product object as well as the quantity of that particular product. Simple. Okay, so list of item is equal to new list of item. Done. Okay, now after this, I'm going to add cart dot add what? Okay, I want you to add an item. Okay, please note, I want you to add a new item. Let me just type new item. Or else you can also write it a different way. I thought of writing in one line, but let me keep it like this. I'll create item space item is equal to new item. Okay, please note what I've written here is new item. I'll just write it like this so that it's easy for, I hope you remember the syntax. Okay, with that, I'll stop here. I'll write product. What is product? Product is equal to, please note, product is equal to, I need to find the object of that particular product who has this ID. How do I get that? You already know how to do that. I need that, what is that? Product DB entities. So since I need it everywhere now and now you use it like a block of code, I'm going to write it outside so that it will be always available. I'll write product DB entities DB is equal to new product DB entities. Done. Okay, so now I'm going to do DB dot TBL products dot find. Okay, whichever product ID you are passing. That product. Second thing, what I need to pass here is quantity. Quantity is equal to 1. The first time you add product is this and quantity is this. Okay, so if this code is confusing or the one what I have written is not very much familiar to you, there's another way of writing it. I'll show you. Item. Create a new item. Item dot product is equal to new, sorry, not new, we can just call db.tblproducts.find whatever product follows this particular product ID. Done. Next one, item dot quantity. The first time it's always 1. First time you're adding, okay, it'll always be 1. So I put quantity also as 1. Okay, I hope this is clear. And once you have got this idea, all I need to do is to that cart list, what you have here, cart dot add, okay, item, which means now this cart list has item. Okay, all I need to do right now is to add this particular cart to the session. So how do I do that? Session of cart is equal to this cart. That's it. Okay. Let me repeat this code, guys. I'll make it into one line of code shortly, but this is for, I've divided the code into lines so that you can follow it. All right. But I can finish it in one line also. I'll show that shortly, but just follow what is happening. I create a list of item called cart. Okay. Why am I creating a list of item? Because I'm not going to take it as one item. What you're adding to the session is going to be more than one item can be added to the cart. All right. So I'm going to create a list of item called cart. And I create an object of the item called what we have created as a model. If I create an object of item, what will be the properties in that? Product and quantity. What is product? It expects an object of TBL product. Okay, so let me just go back. So item dot product is equal to find from the database TBL product which has this particular product ID, what you have passed. Okay, find a product which has this product ID, and quantity always the first time will be just 1. Okay, and then I'm going to add that to this cart, and my cart is right now filled with one product detail, product as well as its quantity is there. Last line, what I'm doing is, since the session cart was blank, now I'm saying session cart is cart. Okay, now let me write it in another word, or this entire 4-line sentence what I've written can be written using one line of code also. Let me just write cart dot add. Okay, please note I'm writing it continuously. New item. Okay, new item, I'll put bracket, I'll say product is equal to db.tblproducts.find product ID, okay, comma, quantity is equal to 1. Done. I hope this is clear, right? This one line of code, what you see here is what they have written here as 4 lines of code. Okay, so it depends on you, how you, whichever is comfortable for you. Since we have, if you understood all the logic what we have come across so far, this could be simple. Okay, cart is the list. I added a new item, and part of the new items object, I need to pass 2 parameters, product and the quantity. Where will you get the product from? From the DB, find the TBL products with the product ID of whatever you have passed. Done. This is one line of code, guys. I'm writing the one line of code, but I put this in comment so that you know both are fine. Okay, so the commented part is equal to this part. Keep that in mind. Okay, so with that in mind, let me move on to the else part. Okay, now what if the first time you added pen? Okay, imagine that the cart is empty. You clicked on add to cart pen. Okay, a pen has been added and one quantity has been given there. Otherwise, what if the second time you're clicking on add to cart on pen itself or another one called pencil? So let me take the first scenario. If you have clicked on now, first you added add to cart of pen, pen got added to the cart. Then I'm clicking on pencil. What am I supposed to do? Okay, first get whatever is there in the cart. Right now, when will you come to this else part? If session of cart is not equal to null. Because if it is null, you would have written this code. Since it is not equal to null, you are coming here. So what I'm going to do here is, first I'm going to take whatever is there in the cart. Okay, so how do I take that? Let me just create another item list. Okay, let me name it as cart only, is equal to whatever is there in that session of cart. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to write session of cart. Okay, this will not work. The reason is you are trying to retrieve something called object. This returns an object, and this unboxing you have not done properly. So how do I unbox it properly? All you need to do is make sure that you typecast it. Okay, typecast it into what data type you want. What data type you want? List of item. Done. Now what will cart hold? whatever you've already added. Okay, if you have one item, it will hold one item. If you have n number of items, n number of items will be there in this particular cart right now. Okay, please remember that. Now with that in mind, let me move on. Okay, I am going to create whether when I'm adding this, I also need to find out if this item is already in the cart. Okay, so how do I do that? So first, let me write another method outside the add to cart. Okay, what method we have written right now? Let me write a simple method. Just follow this method, guys. Public int. Okay, let me return a number. Is let me write it in capital letters only. Is in cart. I'll put that method. And what should I pass? I should just pass a product ID. Okay, so what am I basically going to do in this particular website is, in this particular method is, if you call this function called isInCart and pass me a particular product ID, I will return -1 if the product is not there, and the index of the item if the item is there. Okay, so let me just write return -1 in the beginning itself so that the error will go off. Okay, when will it come to return -1? If you don't find the item in the cart, I am going to return -1. If I find an item in the cart, I want you to return the index of that item stored in the cart. Okay, let me write the code for that. Same code what I wrote here, I'll copy paste. Okay, so I hope by now you understood what I've written here. List of item of cart, whatever is there in the list, I'm fetching, unboxing it into a list of item, typecast in other words. Okay, and then I kept it ready. So all I need to do is I need to go through each and every element in that particular list. So for int I equal to 0, I is less than cart dot count. So how many ever elements are there or items are there in the session cart? Okay, what am I going to do? If simple, I'm going to say cart of I dot, okay, product dot, you'll find product ID. Okay, if the cart, that particular location product ID is equal to whatever you have passed. Okay, so I'll say product ID. If it is equal to, then what am I supposed to do? I wanted to return that value, return that particular I. Okay, guys, that's all. Just look at this code and try to understand what is happening. Okay, so let me just try to take it up in an Excel sheet. Okay, so just to understand how this cart thing works. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. Okay, so just think that this is the cart. Okay, I hope that you can see this. Okay, so now I have items or products. Okay, let's say products are here. Okay, and let me just put pen and pencil and eraser, something like that, just an example. Okay, so let me think like this: 1, 2, 3. All right, now the first time you add something to the cart, okay, the very first time you're adding, look at the condition what we have written. If the cart is equal to null, what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to create an object of item. What is there in item? Object of the product as well as the quantity. Okay, the first time you add item to the thing, quantity will be 1 only. So what I'm going to do is basically I'll take these two. Okay, I'll put it. Okay, I'll just copy that. I'll put it in the cart. Okay, also I'll put the quantity as 1. Okay, please note that that's what I have done. The cart, this is one element in the cart. I will put the index of the cart here. Okay, I'll just put I. This is the index of the cart. Okay, and index of the cart, it is 0 right now. Okay, and in the 0th index, I added that pen. Okay, then I come out, then I clicked on pencil. So I'm adding pencil to my cart. Okay, so when I add pencil to the cart, first time when you add, obviously the count will be 1 only. So quantity, this will be the quantity of item in that. Okay, so in the cart, I have quantity as well as the product, all information of the product, because this is an object of that particular product. What is the index? 1. Okay, now next time when you add an item, let's say eraser, that will get added to the cart because the cart is not empty. It will go to the else part and it will add it to the cart, and the quantity is 1 and the I is 2. The index of that particular thing is 2. Okay, with this in mind, now let me think. If I clicked on pen once again, if I added that pen product, once again to the cart, what should happen? Okay, it is coming and checking whether that particular item is already there or not. Okay, let's understand this method alone, guys. Okay, so if I call this method passing a particular product ID, I wanted to find out whether that particular product is there in the cart. So how do I write? First, I get whatever is there in the session. What is there in session? I get this. Okay, and since there is more than one item, obviously, because it's a array or a list. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to say go through the entire list, which means I need to go through all the items in the cart. Okay, fine. What does my if condition say? My if condition says first time when you run I is 0, so I'll go to 0. Okay, imagine that I'm trying to click on pencil. Imagine this is the one which I'm clicking on. So I'm looking whether this pencil is already there in the cart. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start searching for that particular ID. Let me add one more, but it's not there in the cart. Remember that. Okay, so I'm now trying to add pencil. So what should I do? First, let me go through the method and go through each and every. First time when I click, I is 0. Okay, and say cart of 0. Okay, which means cart of 0. And in that one product ID. What is product ID? 1. In that product ID is 1. Okay, is it equal to what I'm searching for? What are you searching for? I'm searching for an item with an ID of 2. Okay, no. So I'll continue. Please know nothing is else written in the else part. Only if condition is written. So next time you run, the cart value or I value becomes 1. So I'm going to check I, this is cart of 1, and then say search for the item in the cart. And then I'm going to write cart of 1 dot product ID. So cart of 1 product ID, which is 2. It's matching. What am I supposed to do? Return I. What will it return? It will return 1. The index of the product. What product you have added, not the product ID. It returns the index of the product which is stored there. Alright. Now, what if I try to add scale to that particular list? Okay, and I check whether it is there in the cart. How do I do that? Okay, 4 is the index. 4 is the product ID. I'm passing it to this. Okay, I go through each and every element in this shopping cart. I take 0. It's not matching. I take the first element. It's not matching. I take the second element. It's not matching. So what should I return? When I come out of the loop, I'll return -1. Okay, with that in mind, let me go back. I hope this method is clear to you guys. Please just go through it. It's not that difficult at all. Okay, let me move on. Now here, in this add to cart, what am I going to do in the else part? The else part is only when you already have an item. The first time you run, when the cart is empty, okay, I've already written the code for when the cart is empty. When the cart is empty, it's very simple. Create an object of this item, put it there, okay, and put the quantity as 1. That's all we have told. So when you add a new item, first time when you add it, index is always 0. That you not create, you just need to add. So all I did is I created a new object of the item and I added that item to the cart. That's it. Okay, that's what we did if the first time you're clicking on it. What about already there's an item in that list? Okay, what am I supposed to do? First, I'm supposed to check, are you adding the same item to the list? Let's say, for example, you click on pen once again. I'm not supposed to remove that item or add one more pen. Instead of that, I just need to add the quantity, increment the quantity by 1. That's all. If I click on add to cart of pen once again, the cart value of pen will be still the same. Only thing is quantity will be incremented by 1. So how do I write that code? First, get every item from the cart. Simple work. Okay. After you get every item from the cart, call that method. Okay, let me create an object called int index is equal to, call this method called is in cart. Okay, so let me just call is in cart, whatever product ID you have passed to me. Okay, now what will be stored in index? Think about it, guys. Okay, what will be stored in index? If the item already is there, that item's index will be stored in this index. If the item is not there, -1 will be stored in the index. Okay, so my code will become very simple as writing if index is not equal to -1. What do you mean by that? If the item is not found, if the item is already there, okay, it is not equal to -1, which means some other index is stored, which means already the item is there. What am I supposed to do? Very simple. Cart, okay, open the cart, go to that index, what you have got, okay, in that one, you will find something called quantity, increment the count. That's it. Okay, let me repeat that what I said. I call this method which will return to me, okay, whether the item is there in the cart or not. If it is there, it will return that index, whichever index it found, 0, 1, 2, okay, whatever index you have. But if it is not there, by default, it returns -1. So if it is not equal to -1, which means that item is already there in the cart. So what am I supposed to do? Cart of index dot quantity plus plus, which means in the cart of that particular index, increment the quantity by 1. That's it. That's all we are doing. If at all the item is already there in the cart. What if it is not there and it is a new item? Okay, then it will be equal to -1, right? It will not be equal to a particular number. It will be a particular index. Okay, so I need not bother about it. It will be -1 if the item is already not there. So I can just simply write a new code here, which is same as this. Okay, please note it's the same as this, no difference. Let me copy that and paste it here in the else part. Cart dot add new item product. Okay, because it's a new item, right? I'm not incrementing the quantity of the already existing one. And also after that is done, do not forget this. Okay, so whatever is there, put that also. Okay, in the else part or already in the inside else. Let me come out and then update my cart according to whatever is there in my cart, whatever I pulled it from the cart. Okay, here please note the last line and the first line. The first line, you get everything from the session and store it in the list item. Last line, you get whatever is there right now manipulated in the cart back to the session. Okay, so that's the correlation which we have. And with this, we have finished add to cart. Add to cart is done. Now, as simple as this, right? So now let me just go to the remove from cart and then we'll see the output of this. Okay, so let me write another method, public action result. Let me call it as remove from cart, and let me pass the product ID, because again to remove a particular item you need to tell me which product to remove. So I'll say product ID. Okay, and let me copy paste this line because at the end of the code you wanted to take me back to the index page. All right, do not forget that. Now with that in mind, let me move on. How do I remove item from the cart? Here there is nothing much to be verified. Rather, it will look somewhat similar to the previous one what we have done. I'll just copy this. I'll paste it below. Get whatever is there in the session cart and store it in this list of cart. A list of items in this particular name called cart. Then find whether that item is already there, because without an item being there in the cart, you cannot remove it. Only if it is there, you are going to remove it. Okay. Now it has become very, very simple. Cart dot remove at. Okay, what should I pass to remove at? Index, which you will anyway get from that method. Okay, done. So once you have done, the last line, do not forget, is the same, the reverse of what you have done in the first line. Okay, you took everything from the session and stored it in your list. Now whatever is there in the list, put it inside the session. So now I've updated it, which means I removed this particular item which is there at that particular index where you found that particular item, and I updated my cart. That's it. So I have done add to cart, remove from cart, also a small method which will check whether it is already in the cart or not. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. With that, let me just move on. Now let's just go to the index. So here I'm going to say right click and go to view. It is not there, unable to find a matching view because you did not create a new view for this cart controller. So let me right click and say add view. Okay, let's choose this only, index empty without model, because I'm writing the code. Let me just click on add. Now a view has been created. Okay, so from where am I getting all these logic? Okay, I'm right now, please note, so far I've been passing something to the view. Here nothing I'm passing. The reason is because I am going to create an object of whatever is available in the session, variable. So I'm not passing anything. I'm right now taking it from the session. So all I'm going to write is I'm going to write model. Let me call the project name. I think here my project name is MVC, check MVC dot models. That is my model. Okay, and here I'm going to say your cart. Okay, let me just say your cart or cart items, whatever you want to give. Okay, use that. And once this is done, let me move on. Okay, let me write a simple table tag. Okay, let me process it. So table class is equal to table Okay, table hyphen bordered. Let me just put bordered as well as table hyphen hover. That's all. If you want, you can add more items. Okay, next one is tr. I'll just put it in a table structure so that it's easy for us to see and understand. Okay, so I'm going to start with product image. Let me show the image first, and then I'll show the name. Then I think the price I'll show. Then I'll show the quantity. That's not from the database. Quantity I'll show. Then I'll show the what do you call, the total amount, and also an option to remove it from the cart. Okay, I'll give an option. So anyway, let me just put the word so that it makes sense for us. Okay, let me just change this because we are not, this is not a model, but rather we are just using it. So I'll just put using. It's fine now. Okay, we are using check MVC dot models because I'm going to create an object of TBL product. Okay, which is not available here, but rather I'm going to take it from item. What is that? Item.cs, which I created inside models. So I'm saying using check MVC dot models. I'll just import that into my project. Now I'm writing. First one is product image. Next one is product name. Third one I'll put the price. Okay. And next one I'll say quantity. Okay, that's how you want to display it. I'll leave it to you guys. That's your wish. Okay, I'll put the total amount for that particular product. For example, if I say pen is 5 rupees, if I added one pen, the total is 1 into 5. If I added 2 pens, 2 into 5, like that. Okay, that I'm going to show. The last one is the operation. Okay, like removing or removing from the cart, or just I'll just put the word remove operation or something like that. Okay, it's your wish. Now, moving on, let me just go to the next step where it's very simple. I need to put for each item where. Okay, that's the next question. For each item in what? Okay, please note, I am not retrieving it from the database. Rather, I'm where did I store? When you add it to the cart, look at this. You have added the item to the session of cart. So when you're retrieving, you should retrieve list of item. Okay, a session of cart. Okay, I'm going to take this only, guys. I'm going to take this entire block. I'll copy that and I'll write it here. That's it. Okay, please note what I've written. For every item in session of cart, I cannot call session of cart directly because I have to unbox it. So I'm taking it as list of item. Where is this item coming from? Check MVC.models. Okay, so that's how I've correlated it. So once this is done, let me write the code. Okay, so let me just write a simple tr and let's get the data for that. Okay, so inside tr we have tds. The first td is going to show what? Image. So let me write it like this. Image src is equal to, you know how to write it by now, control space content images, and now I require item dot. Please note, it is not database, it's from session. In session I've stored an item, so item has only product and quantity, only two things are there. So let me call product. From product I can get whatever details you want. I can call prod underscore pick. Done. Alright, so how do I show the alternate text? Very simple again, item dot product dot name, product name. Okay, so I've shown the image, but let's not keep it as it is. Let's also increase the width and height. So I'll just put width is equal to 100 because I wanted like a small thumbnail. Height is equal to 100. That's enough. Okay, I've added that image. That's in one TD. Simple. Okay, next one is another TD. I would like to show the the name of the product. Okay, because I already have the code here. Let me just show the name of the product as it is. Okay, if you want give designs and all, or if you want to add like H1, H2, something like that, you can add that all here, guys. I'll leave it to you. Next one is the price. So I'll put price item dot product price. Okay, because item only refers to an object inside the session, and inside the session you have item which holds product. In the product you have all the records. Okay, remember that. And last one, I think not last, before that you have quantity. Okay, now please note, I'm not going inside the product. Item itself has quantity because one of the other option was quantity, how much items are there in the session. Okay, so that also I have done. If you want for the rupees, the price, you can also put rupees symbol. Okay, so I'll keep it like that. And also the last one I think is total amount, right? Yes. Okay. So quantity I print. Now I want to find the total amount. It's very simple. Okay, because you already have quantity and the price. Multiply these two, you'll get the answer. So if I want to multiply, I'll put a block of at. Okay. Please note the symbol what I have used. Okay, because I'm going to do operation here. So item dot product price. This particular product's price multiplied by item dot quantity. So you'll get the total amount. Okay, it's very simple. The last line is removing from cart. So let me just write it here, TD, and here I'm going to write a href. Okay, so anchor tag. Here I need to write the URL. Okay, so here I'll write remove from cart. Instead of that word, you can also use a symbol or something like a glyph icon or a font awesome icon, whatever you want. Okay, let me just put a class. Let me put a btn hyphen danger. I think that's enough. Okay, now let me write the what do you call the hyperlink. Okay, so href is equal to, I've given at. Okay, let me just create it as a URL dot action. I need to pass first parameter. What I'm passing is the action. What action would you like to call from cart? Since it's remove from cart, I'll call this method only remove from cart. Okay, I'll call remove from cart. Second thing I need to pass is the controller's name. What is the controller's name? Controller's name here is cart. And I cannot just pass these two values because this particular method in the controller expects me to pass product ID. Okay, so do not forget that. So with that in mind, let me just write the next parameter, comma, new. Let me put two brackets and I'll put at. Please note you should use the same word what I've used here. Okay, so here I've used product ID. Let me copy that and let me paste it here. Okay, product ID. Just put an at symbol in front. At product ID is equal to, where will you get the product ID? Item, because you're still inside the C#, but because you started with an at symbol, item dot product dot prod underscore ID. That's it. So remove this item from the cart and I'll pass the item's ID also to you. That's it. Okay. Now, let me do this, then I'll come to the grand total. Okay, so let me check whether this works. But before that, there should be an option to add to cart, right? That add to cart is available in index.cshtml. I did not write the href. Now let me write. Okay, I'll put at URL.action. I need three parameters, or here, I need three parameters, starting with the first parameter, which is the action method. So what is the method here? Add to cart. So let me just copy the name of the method. Let me go back. Sorry, here this index. Okay, add to cart is the action name. Second one is cart. That's your controller's name. Third one is your parameter, what I need to pass. Okay, so I'll put at product ID, same word which I've used here in cart controller, remove from cart product ID. Okay, do not forget that product ID is equal to, what am I supposed to pass here? Okay, please note I already have item here, so I just need to call item dot prod ID. That's it. Done. With this, our work here is done, guys. Let me try the program. If any errors are there, we'll come back to this. Okay, so before that, let me just quickly tell you what is happening. I first open home controller default page. This page will be open. I'll show all the products in a list. So when I click on a particular product, that when you click on here, what will happen? It will take me to add to cart with that particular product ID. So I'll go to cart controller, add to cart. I take that particular ID and come here. Okay, if the session is first time created, if it is null, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new object with that particular ID what you passed with quantity as 1 and add it to the session of cart. Otherwise, I fetch whatever is already there, and if the item what you're right now adding is already there in the cart, I'll increment only the quantity. Okay. Otherwise, if it is a new product which you're adding, I'll add that new product and update my session. That's it. Okay. Now, how did I know that the item is already there? I use this method called isInCart, which I created. Alright, and removing is very simple. I just take all the items from the cart. If that particular item is already in the cart, remove that particular index. Okay, and then update my session. That's it. Let me just see how this works. Let's run the project. You are not supposed to run the cart controller directly because you're supposed to run only the home controller first. Then later we will find out. Okay, so let me just quickly run this. Let's see whether it works, then we'll move on. Okay, so a list of products are available and I'm in the home controller. All right, so let me just click on one of the items. Let's say this pen. Okay, let me click on add to cart. When I click on add to cart, it takes me to cart controller. All right, and in cart controller, please look at the code. The first line of code is open index page. So when you call index page, this item will be rendered, which is your cart page. Okay, that's coming here, your cart. And then I have a table which will show me the image, the name of the product, the price of the product, quantity of the product, as well as the total amount of that product, and remove from cart. Okay, so when I click on remove from cart, what should happen? It should remove the item from the cart and take me back to the home page only. Here, the cart page only. Cart right now, nothing is there. Okay, so let me just remove that cart and go back to my home page. All right, let me just click on add. I've added it. Okay, let me again go back to home page and click on the same item once again. Please note that same item I'm clicking on add to cart. What should happen? Okay, so if I go through the code, you can easily find out what will happen. When I click on add to cart, same product ID, cart is not null. I'll come here. Okay, I'll reach all the items which are there in the cart. I'll find out what is the index. What will be the index? Because there's only one record, index will be 0. And it is not equal to -1, which means index is 0 is not equal to -1. So this code will get executed. So cart of 0 dot quantity plus plus. Okay, which means increment the quantity of that particular item. So let me just go back. Let me add the item once again. What happens? Increment the quantity of that particular item. It's now become 2. So what is the total amount? 2 into 8, 16. Okay, so this amount should also be in rupees. So I'll go back here and I'll just add a rupee symbol in front of it. Okay, sorry. That's it. Now let me come back and refresh. Okay, so here this is, if you want, you can highlight this also by just putting it bold or H1 or H2, something like that, or you can give a different color and display however you want. Okay, so this is the product and product price is 8 rupees per product and quantity I've added is 2, so 16 rupees is the amount. Okay, so let me just go back and let's add another item. Okay, right. So I've added another item. You have 25 rupees product price, quantity is 1, so 1 into 25 is 25. Okay, but please note, I'm not getting the total. I want the total. That will be my next target, but I hope you guys have followed what is happening here. All right, so now if I delete everything from the session, if I see the cookie part, you'll see that cookie will have an ASP.NET session ID. Okay, because session ID has been created by the server and it's stored in the cookie. And it will only be stored till you close the browser. Once you close the browser, the session will be removed. Please note, I have not logged in as a user or something like that, but I've added these items into a session. So the session ID is already created. Server has all these information in the session and the ID is now mapped here in session ID. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. So now we have done a small shopping cart thing. The only thing now pending is this is to find out the total of how much is the amount I'm supposed to pay, which means I need to get what is 25 plus 16. That is also required here when I finish my cart. So let's do that. That's a small thing. Okay, but I guess you guys can experiment that. Okay, but anyway, let me just format this. Okay, now I have a table. At the bottom of the table, I would also like to see what is the total expense, which means after adding all these items together, what will be my value. Okay, so for that purpose, let me create another row, but not inside this tr. Okay, I'll create another row without this what do you call the for each what we have written here. Okay, I think it's better we stop the for each here, and once you come out of it, let me add one more tr. Okay, and I'll put td first td. I'll put the call span as how many items? 1 2 3 4 5. I think we'll put call span as 5 because I want 5 rows, 5 columns to be taken as 1, and I'll show you only one thing called total amount to be or to be paid. Okay, I'll just put like this, total amount to be paid. okay, or total cart value, or whatever you want to give that there. Okay, now inside that, what I'm going to do is, instead of putting it in small this one, let me just put it inside a h2 tag or h1 tag, something like that. Okay, so let me just put h2, and I'll put this, and I'll also say class is equal to text hyphen center, so that it comes in the middle of the table. Okay, and towards the end of the table I'll see the output also. Okay, so this is done, very simple TD. Next TD is a little bit complicated because I need to find out the total of all values which are there in the cart. Okay, so how do I do that? Alright, so first of all, before I print the value to the user, let me just do a small operation. Let me just find out a small C# way to find out all the items and the total of all those items. Okay, so you can write it same here also. You can also add like say for a variable, you can create it, and every time the loop runs, you can find out what is the product price and all those things. Just to divide the work, I have written it separately so that you can understand this. Okay, first get all the items from the array. Okay, so how do I do that? I already have the code here. This code is enough. Let me copy that. Let me write it here. Okay, and inside this, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a variable. Let me create a simple variable called total. Total is equal to. Okay, I'm going to write two types of queries, guys. If you remember, one was method oriented. Okay, the other one is like link expression, which looks like SQL. The other one is lambda expression. Okay, so first let me write with link so that we make sense of what we are writing. Then we will see. Okay, from data in cart. Okay, the cart is nothing but that list of items. Okay, what do you want me to do? Select data dot product dot price. Okay, for each and every element in that cart, get the price of that element, multiply it with data dot quantity. Okay, now please note, what have I done? Basically I've said in my cart, let's say that there are right now there are two elements in the cart. Okay, so I wanted to go through each and every element in the cart and multiply each element's price with its quantity. Okay, and then at the end, what will you get? I want the sum of all those things. Simple. Okay, I want the sum of all price into quantity. Like for example, I had given 8 into 2, 16. Then 25 into 1, 25. So 16 plus 25, I want the sum. Okay, that's an inbuilt method. I can use it as an aggregate function here in link. So I've got the value. That's it. You can come out and then print at okay, let me just put it as in a H2 or something so that it's the final amount, right? So I want to say dollar or rupees symbol, okay, at total. Total can be because it's a variable created through linked, CSHTML. All right, so the total will be printed. That's it. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let me run the program and check whether this is working or not. Then I'll change it into lambda expression also. Alright, that lambda expression is shorter, but idea is still the same. The same thing I can write it in a different way. That's all. Okay. So let's go back. Right now I'm going to cart index. Please note, the first time you directly open cart index, if there is no item in the session, okay, the session is blank, your cart also will be blank. Remember that. You're not supposed to call the cart index first. You're supposed to call the page index first, or your website's index first. Okay. Okay. Right now the index, the cart is empty, so it's not running. So let me just access the index page. Our home controller index page. Okay. So now I am in the session here. It's cart. Okay. So now let me just add item to the cart. Now it's working. Okay. You can see total amount to be paid is 8 rupees. Okay, it's coming like this. Now let me move on. Let me go to the application. Let me add a item to the cart. Now 8 plus 25, 33 rupees is the total item you need to pay. Okay, so let me go back to the application. Let me add this also. 33 plus 5, 38. Okay, let me go back and add the same item once again. You see that now this becomes 2 into 16. So my total item keeps updating as and when I add items to the cart. So my cart is getting dynamically updated every time I add an item to the cart, and I can remove it from the cart also. Before removing, you can also verify whether are you sure all those things. That's still JavaScript. That doesn't have anything to do with ASP.NET. Okay, so you can just say remove from cart and that item is removed and your cart is still getting updated. Okay, so the our code what we have written here in simple terms is now working here in this can be more complicated when I add connections between two tables. All right, so please remember, guys, the structure of an order or a shopping cart if you're creating, okay, not like this what I have done. This is just for demonstration purposes of how MVC works. Okay, so this is a simple shopping cart which we have done. Now, if I click on submit after this, if I imagine I put something called buy. Okay, so when you click on buy, I need to take these two elements to the particular user, whoever is logged in. So which means till now you can do, but if you want to proceed, you have to log in. Okay, so you have to create another controller called user controller, and you will take login, registration, all those things. Okay, so once the user is logged in, you'll have a user ID. You have the items in the cart. You have the items in the cart as well as the user who has taken it. Now, with these two, you'll be creating something called order ID. Okay, so once he is ready to pay, okay, you create an order and you'll create two tables. One is called order table, in which you will hold which user placed which order ID. Okay, and you'll have another table which will have only order of products, which means order ID will be same. For example, this, let me think, this is one order. This product is one, this product is one. Let's say product number 101, 102. But the order number I'll create O1. If order 1 is O1, in that one you have P1 and P2. Product 2 products are there. And which user has bought this? U1. Okay, like that you'll have to map different tables, and the code will be taking a little bit more time to finish than what I've done so far. So that's why I'm trying to stop here, because if I add multiple tables, the code will become a little bit more lengthier, and by the time I finish, it will be too much. So I want you guys to try with whatever work you have with this particular MVC, and if at all you're finding it difficult, let me know, then I can solve your individual queries. Not for the class, as a record, this work is done. Okay, so with this, I stop the final program of the lab record. Okay. Guys, a few more announcements. With that, I'll stop. First thing is that all your record programs are done from my side. So now it is about time for you to start making all your record programs, like how we had done the lab records of JSP servlet, if you remember, same way. Okay, so first you have to give the title of the project, the date in which you have done it, okay, and your registration number is required everywhere. Okay, and wherever you have a project, please do make sure that the title, okay, the title of the ASP.NET web page should be in your name, your register number. Okay, like for example, if you're using MVC, okay, just go to the view underscore start in that, sorry, shared layout underscore layout. You'll see my ASP.NET web application is written, right? So in that place, you put your register number. Okay, whatever register number you have, just put that, so that every page you open accessing this particular shared file, you will find a register number coming there. Okay, I hope you follow. I want this to be there in all your pages, and wherever possible, use your name, not your friend's name. Okay, I want you to use your name and create your record and your output and keep it ready. Okay, please don't forget that. And keep the records ready. We do not know when it will be asked, because I think the timetable will be shared to you shortly. And in that case, you'll have to come to the campus before at least 2 or 3 days to give the records and get it signed and bind and all those things. Okay, so that I think instructions will be following to you, but please be prepared. My work is done, guys. You have to start working on your records and keep it ready. Don't work to the last minute, and don't try to copy it from somebody, because all record programs I have done, if you're copying that also, then it shows you the heights of your laziness. Okay, so never do copy. Okay, take it to your own time. Only 10 programs I've given, probably 10 or 11 programs, out of which all I have done. Okay, all I want you to do is refer those videos of the program what I've done, and then try to do it in your laptop and take a printout of the record. Okay, do not fail this. Okay, so do that. And second thing is that the lab exam. Okay, I think Santosh B sir has already announced you that on Monday 28th, I guess 28th, sir is conducting a lab exam. Okay, the following day 29th will be my lab exam. All right, and how we have kept it is that the program will be my program. I'll tell you, you'll be getting any one of the CRUD operations from. You will be given one CRUD operation, guys, but that will be split into 2 pages. Like for example, there are 4 ASPX files expected from you: retrieve.aspx, insert.aspx, update, as well as delete. Okay, so what I will do is I'll specifically mention each page to be done in a different technology. All right, so please be prepared with 3 technologies: ADO.NET, connected and disconnected. So which means it will become 2, right? So ADO.NET connected is one technology, ADO.NET disconnected is second technology, link to SQL third, and entity framework is fourth. So you'll have 4 technologies. I'll ask each page to be done in a different technology. I hope you follow. All right, so that you will have comprehensive all the 4 things covered in one program. And 2 of that I'll be taking it for one connected and linked to SQL. I'll be taking it as first internal, second internal, and disconnected and linked to SQL, I'll take it as second class test. So all those things will be finished in one program, but that one program will be CRUD only, nothing else. I'm not going to give anything else, but data types will be different. I have only discussed int and varchar. I'll be giving a little bit data types extra. Okay, and I'll want you to do that program and then submit it back. I'll give the instruction as I've done the Android program, if you remember. Okay, so with that, we will finish our lab exercises. Okay. So if you have any questions, please do ask. Otherwise, I'll stop here. So thank you guys for joining, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.